Hi, and welcome to Danny After Dark. If you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss a notification or a new episode. Tonight is the weekly True Crime and Chill, and hopefully joining us tonight will be Beckham. From what I understand, yes, you guessed it, he is still trying to figure out which candle to burn tonight for the show, which means he clearly has not gotten his own Beckham candle on the merch site. So I have a bone to pick with him, but we'll address that later. Hello, everybody. Happy Friday. I hope you guys all had a fantastic week. For those of us in the States, it was a bit of a short work week for most of us, with Monday being Veterans Day, a holiday. So we have a lot to catch you up on. There was a lot of big true crime news this week. I did upload a short video the day of the Delphi verdict, but we will get into that a bit more tonight, a little bit later on. And before I forget, I just wanted to also plug, if you guys have not checked out the merch store, please do. There are so many cool things, and I'm really excited that so many of you have placed orders and are really excited about it, because again, this has been a long time coming. So tonight I am repping the Liz Files shirt. Liz could not be here tonight, and I was like, well, that's all right, girl. I'm still going to rep this shirt. So love it. I wore it to dance practice earlier in the week. Loved it. Fits great. Amazing. So anyway, let's see who's here. Fiddle, you were absolutely, that's exactly what it is too. He did say he was going to be watching the fight, but I was like, okay, I give you a shirt and a candle on a merch store, and now you're too good to be on Danny After Dark. That's what it is. But no, it's the Tyson fight, which, Fiddle, from what I get, Paulcast is watching that fight as well. From what I hear, Paul doesn't strike me as that type to be interested in that, but what do I know? I feel like he'd want to watch Teletubbies or something, whatever the new thing is. I don't know. I don't have kids, so it is what it is. So let's see who's here. Hey, Shelly. Yeah, I don't know where your love is unless you're addressing it to me, which by all means, love you too, girl. Hey, Capone. Chris James, hello. Capone, before I forget, I am going to Vegas next year. I'm going to Vegas. It's part of a multi-stop trip, but it is in the works. I will be in Vegas for a few days. So I'm very excited because I've not been since, I think, 2016 or something like that. So yes, we will be in contact. Let's see. Tony Stewart, hello. Beckham isn't at the Tyson fight. James Watson, he is not. Where are the cats? They're around. Hey, Todd, we will be getting a Delphi for sure. Oh, you're watching it too. Gotcha. I want to see Jake Paul get knocked out. All right. Hey, Kane, good to see you. Let's see. Danny, don't stay at Capone's. I didn't say I was going to stay at Capone's. I said we'll connect. Well, nice of you to join us, sir.
Oh, hey. Well, hello. Welcome.
All right. What took so long? What candle scent did you select?
It's I don't even know. It's one of the brands. I have like 3 different kinds.
The people want to know. An answer of I don't know, it's one of the
Wait,
candles I
I think I
own
have
is not
1, 2,
sufficient.
3, 4. It's like 4 brands, different kinds. But I do only have one tonight going, and it is. Hold on, I don't burn my hand. Oh yeah, forest fir. Remember forest
Still?
fir caused a commotion the
You're
last
still
time.
burning that? Don't you like rotate the scents?
I haven't burned that one in a while. Not since last time.
I feel like you strike me as the type that's very like mood oriented. You're like, what candle scent tonight am I feeling?
No, I usually stick with one and I kind of finish it out and then I switch it out. I
Wow,
need
and
to
here
get
I
back
thought
on
I
this
knew
on the red
you.
because it's Christmas, it's holiday season. I need to get back on the red flavor.
Scent?
Yeah.
Very different, very different. Todd was wondering if it was purple sage. Capone was wondering if it was blueberry Santa Muerte.
No,
Wow,
but I do have a Mexican one that's red.
very specific. You guys are very specific with your candles.
Um,
James Watson says, Jesus Christ. So stupid.
that's
So Beckham, I'm repping the Liz shirt tonight.
oh nice.
The
I know I
Liz
need to put my
files.
order in.
Yes, you should. You
Let me
should.
see what
And then I
Liz's looks
have
like. What is
my
Liz?
beverage.
Oh, it's got the trumpet. Liz.
Saxophone.
Oh,
That's her
sorry.
symbol. That is her symbol.
Well, I meant
It's
that,
an
but I didn't.
inside joke,
Yeah,
but it's
I
what
was.
when we are communicating true crime. That's like, think of it like, for those of you who are into Batman comics, you know how there's like
Doesn't it go like that?
the symbol, like the Batman symbol, and that means like, hey, shit needs to be talked about. That's our symbol, and I'll leave it at that. But yeah,
Doesn't
but
it sound like that?
huh?
Doesn't it sound like that?
No, the best. Okay, the best way for Beckham for you to know what I'm talking about is George Michael's "Careless Whispers," the beginning, that saxophone part. That is,
Oh, okay, never mind.
yeah. Yeah, you're thinking of a totally different one. Well, look who the hell is here. Hi,
I'm thinking of the
Paul.
trombone.
Yeah, very different. Very different. Very different. Oh, I'll have to be like, Liz, you got to tune in to hear Beckham not know what the hell a saxophone is. But anyway, let's see.
What's the one that goes? He has a stick and you play this. Never mind.
I don't know. I wasn't in bands. I did dance my whole
Oh, I
life. And I
wasn't. No,
still
I
do
was.
dance.
Yeah,
So
I
I've
wasn't in
done
bands
nothing
either.
other than dance. So I can't.
I figured you would have tried the blowing the flute.
Just because Auntie Deb says I'm YouTube's #1, was it slam?
Yeah, yeah.
Love you, Auntie
He's the
Deb.
one that called you the flute blower.
Beckham.
He's the one that called it, not me. I'm just repeating what
He
he
didn't
said.
call me that.
Oh, he called you like 25 names and went
He
off on a
did call
list.
me about
He was
25
like,
names.
dude, he like took out a list like an aired list, and it just went down the list of names.
Yeah. If you guys are wondering what Beckham is talking about, go back to my birthday
That was
show
funny.
when Auntie Deb came on dressed up as Judge Bev from the Karen Reed trial.
He went off on you. He just called you like list. He just took a list out.
Mm-hmm.
That was
Yeah,
funny.
I actually sent that clip to a friend today because we were talking about it, and she
Dude, I had never heard somebody call out somebody with names so fast.
You and Paul loved it. I thought it was hilarious. Like, I thought it was
pretty funny.
absolutely hilarious, and I loved every second of it. But yeah, Beckham, you're definitely adding a few new names to that list. But anyway, hey Renee, good to see you. So, all right, I know Beckham's time here is limited because there is a fight going on.
You know what's messed up? You know
What?
what's really messed up about the fight? It's supposed to be Netflix's first ever, hey, we're gonna get into the fight business. You don't have to pay $100, whatever it is for the fight. You just, if you have Netflix, just come in and watch the fight. Man, the app's frozen. Dude, I'm like gonna have to like watch it. I'm gonna have to like illegally stream it.
Beckham, don't say such things on this channel. I don't want to
Sorry.
get interviewed by the FBI or something like that. You know, if it's like, hey, is your co-host from Manson Saga doing illegal stuff? Now I have to say yes because it's on camera that I know this information.
I don't even know where to get the illegal sites, and it was a joke.
Renee says the fights are going on downstairs. Not me, not my thing, girl. I'm right there with you, Renee.
But I know a couple of people that are there. That's in Dallas. It's where the Cowboys play.
Who was it earlier in the chat that said they were surprised you weren't there? I think it was James Watson.
Yeah.
Because I'm actually, it's so close. I don't know. But instead, we have you
In
here
Dallas.
tonight.
Oh, it's
Lucky us.
Arlington where the Cowboys play. But, yeah.
So let's jump in to the true
Hold on.
crime
Let me
this
bring out
week.
my notes. Give me a second.
There's only three. There's only three on here to talk about. There, not because there was a lack of true crime news. There are some cases that were in trial this week, or some that were actually a jury reached a verdict. And I had been following them, and I was kind of like, oh, should I add it to the note? But they all involved deaths of children, or one in particular was, I believe, death of a mother killed her, I think it was 7-month-old baby. I'm totally blanking right now, and I know the case, but I purposely did not add it to the notes because I know you guys, like, that's like when you guys seem to be like, Danny, too much. So, and when I was reading through it, I was like, there's really no way to talk about it. I mean, I can censor a lot of the details, but in the end, y'all still get it. And I was like, no, like, I know you guys don't want that. So,
Oh, I thought we were gonna talk about the aliens and the government saying, "Hey, aliens are real." Say hi to them.
well, first, thank you, Todd. Tony, they're free to come in. They're not in the moment, but they're free to come in. So we'll see. Beckham, why don't you start us off? What would you like to talk about with the aliens this week?
The congressional hearings, they said officially that they do exist. We have communicated. There's bodies. There's crashed ships that we don't know. Officially, the U.S. government is questioning existence as we know it. Just different things like that. You probably won't get more access than what they admitted to this week. So, I mean, but it was kind of like, I mean, everybody's always just been like, hey, they do exist, going back to what, the 40s and 50s when you had those TV shows Beyond Mars. I mean, I don't know, those early, I don't know what they're called, but those early space shows. I don't have them off the top of my tongue right now, but yeah, so it was kind of cool. You had people like whistleblowing about there are programs. Government is official, like I said, the government is officially questioning its own, like our own existence. The fact that they said something like, well, the fastest that we know how fast we can go, we're capable of going. These objects can go 1,000 times faster and move in different directions that we don't know we didn't even know we could. And then somebody asked, well, that's probably current. And he's like, no, they've been doing this since the 50s. So we've known about this since like the 50s. Kind of gave a timestamp. So the timestamp was about the 50s, so ish type thing. And just, like what art and life go together, how we talk about Hollywood and the CIA have always been in bed together, right? They kind of mimic each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you go back to the timeline exists when Hollywood started bringing out that kind of thing, right, in TV. So just it was kind of crazy, but kind of like, wow, it kind of does it. They do, and we have been, right? So I was just like, man, I want to see crash ships and bodies and what, and so they were like, well, we have them. you're not gonna see them, but they kind of, I mean, so yeah, man, it's crazy.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's just I don't know if we'll go and if they'll go into it further, Congress and that kind of thing, or this is a stop because of course you're getting into too much information, security, all that kind of
Mm-hmm.
thing. So, but it was kind of pretty cool to kind of see it unfold. I think was it Wednesday? I think it was Wednesday, a couple of
I
days
think
ago.
so.
Yeah, it was kind of cool to see it unfold before Congress and
Well,
it's kind of
back
some
on what?
official people came forward
Mm-hmm.
and kind of gave us they kind of let us peek in a little bit, but
Yeah,
the peak
75, 85 years later, they gave us this
the
little
peak
tidbit. Don't
was
hold your
pretty,
breath for
yeah. I mean,
more.
there was too many because there's just too much. There was too many ex-military people or people that are pilots, really, right? That's like, man, I've seen, I mean, I've seen some stuff, crazy stuff up there, that's not humanly possible, right? And that kind of thing. So it was pretty cool. They let us peek. They peeked. They cracked the door a little bit and
They
kind of gave us
did.
a little bit of a peek, a little bit of a flashlight in that room.
Well, it was weird because I was
when
at
it
work.
was always shut, when the door was always just completely shut, and
Right.
they had somebody at the in front of the door saying you can't come in here. You know what I mean? So
Mm-hmm.
it was kind of interesting. It's kind of cool.
Well, I was at work and my coworker was like, "Oh yeah, there's a congressional hearing right now on aliens," and I'm like, "You're lying." She's like, "No," and needless to say, I was like, "Oh my god!" So of course, right away, I message you. I message Liz because
Yeah.
Liz is really into that stuff too. Liz was
Mm.
like, "I'm watching it, and I already have like 3 pages of notes." Like Liz is so funny. She's like
Yeah. No, man. I
so
mean,
funny, but
yeah, I mean,
yeah.
it can be kind of scary too. Just I don't like I said, we probably won't get much more, but a lot of stuff happened this week. You have, of course, I know we're like a couple of weeks since the election, but everybody wants they are looking forward for the JFK stuff to come out, and with that, with Trump saying that he will put it out this time, that something big happened today. I don't know if you saw this or not, because he's not going to care, and it's gonna. I don't know how this is going to be how it's going to go, but officially, the family of Malcolm X has officially launched a. They're suing the government for 100 million on the murder of Malcolm X.
Under what
I don't.
premise?
Yeah, yeah. So they've launched it. They launched it this afternoon. I was reading, so
Okay, so
I don't have
I
any
didn't hear that.
specifics. Well, yeah, because now, I mean, you can go back and talk about the '60s. The '60s was a crime. I'm so glad I didn't live in the '60s. It was really bad. And for the people that are in the chat that might have been maybe a teenager at the time, or maybe just a little, I mean, I'm pretty sure they can attest to it. The '60s were bad, really bad. And you had, of course, president get assassinated. Malcolm X got assassinated. Martin Luther King got assassinated. Another potential president, which was Kennedy's brother, got assassinated. You had four big,
All right, I
and
got it,
then
Beckham.
you could throw in Marilyn Monroe in there too. So you had all these popular figures get assassinated or ended up getting or dying. So yeah, the family has formally launched a suit against the federal government of the
Rabbit.
the the potential
I have
assassination
the
of
info,
Malcolm X.
Beckham.
Huh?
I have it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so just to elaborate on what you were saying, so his family is filing, like you said, the $100 million
Yeah, the
lawsuit,
daughters. Yeah, there you
claiming
go.
the New York City Police Department, FBI, CIA, Department of Justice, and US government played a role in Malcolm X's murder. In 1965, the attorney representing the family said they believe the government agencies all conspired to assassinate Malcolm X. The allegations include, and there's 5 things here: failing to safeguard despite imminent threats,
There you go.
removing security the night of the assassination, actively encouraging and facilitating the assassination. That's a big one. On duty operatives
Yeah, that is the
failing to
big one right there,
intervene,
right?
Oh, for Christ's sakes. No, I do not want to restart my computer right now. A concealment effort or cover up after the fact. Malcolm X's daughter says, quote, "We seek justice for the assassination of our father and that the truth will be recorded in history," end quote. Interesting.
Yeah, that came out today. So that you have a lot. Yeah, that's one thing when you kind of have somebody outside the box, you get elected president, where they're like not conform to the nuances of traditional politics, where like, hey, I'm gonna just come in and open up all the old files.
Well, the whole number
And I
3.
guarantee you that's what they're basing it off of. They're
Yeah.
like, man, if we can get Trump to do this, to do that, those files are going to open. You know, if the government was indeed involved in the tragic assassination of a polarizing figure in the 60s, then we'll see. A lot was going on, man. We know we talked, we kind of cross-reference that and our other show and in your show. Sometimes we kind of bring in information from those times. But it just was interesting that it came out this afternoon after the election of 2 weeks ago. So with all the chatter about opening up files into Kennedy and to certain aspects of government, and including this thing with the UFOs this past week. So it's just kind of been keep it going, because people want those Kennedy files released. They are just waiting for that, man. You have people that are retired that's all they do is research those documents, and they just go through them, and they're just water of the mouth, waiting for them to come out or be released.
Yeah. Well, so to answer, so I got a question from Rabbit, and I want to make sure I answer it. Well, thank you for noticing. So the eyeliner that I use is Kat Von D's liquid eyeliner. I use the black shade. I mean, they have other different shades to choose from for the eyeliner. I personally use that. I find it the best liquid eyeliner I've ever used. So Kat Von D. All right. Danny always makes my, oh God, Tony Stewart. So, all right. Anything to add in regards to this, the Malcolm X's family filing a suit? And
no, it just came out this afternoon. There's nothing really other than just that they're filing suit.
Yeah, well,
I'm pretty sure
that. That didn't.
I'm pretty sure it's a pretty big deal, only because Trump's in office, and he'd be the only one to release the documents, right? I mean, no one's ever mentioning that before. Like I said, when you have something outside the norm coming into a structured, place, you don't know what could happen, right? So there you go. There you go.
We have a question for you, a very important question. James Watson would like to know what eyeliner you use.
Yeah, I don't even know what. I think a woman wearing a distinctive eyeshadow is always cool, but I don't need an eyeliner. I don't
know. Fun story for y'all. So the first time me and Beckham went to LA, we've talked about it before, like the guy coming out of the wall and all that fun stuff.
True story.
True story.
Right next to Danny's room.
Yeah. But anyway, so, traveling with me is a delight. Beckham, he can't help but agree. I'm just such a delight. Anyway. So of course, getting ready in the morning, I have all my makeup and all that fun stuff. So I remember using my makeup products, and one of them was the under eye powder. And, there's terms when you're setting it called baking. And so I was like, Beckham, look what I had oh my God, it was so funny. I was just like, this looks ridiculous, and I have to show him, and he looks so freaked out. Yes. So anyway, okay. The story's not doing it justice. It was really funny at the time. The guy coming out of the wall next to my bedroom.
That I was just like, so funny. No, I was like, look, I told you.
No, imagine you're just hanging out.
I almost ran to the street because you and Ann looked at me like I was an idiot when I was trying to tell you all these Hollywood houses have sex dungeons. Y'all were like, I'm like, they do. That house does. Look at how that house looks. It conforms right there in that section, and we're driving. We're driving. You're like, Beckham, shut up. And we're sitting there having a conversation, and this dude literally walks out of the damn wall like a secret.
It was like a secret door.
Secret,
And we're
yeah,
all
it was. It
out
opened up.
Airbnb,
The
and he
wall
just
literally
walks out of
opened.
the wall and by
He
us and out the
did.
door.
And I was like, I looked at you, and I was like, I told you, I'm fine. I almost ran out in the street because I was all like, yes, I win. And then I was like, wait a minute, that was kind of weird. And then I was like, well, wait. And then, Danny, it's by your room.
Hey, K-Dog. Yeah. And I must say, Beckham, again, another reason I'm such a delight to travel with is because I keep you on your toes when you're driving because you don't know how to damn drive.
Oh my God, here we go with that shit. I follow the rules, the laws. Hello?
Beckham was so mad at me. When you have to be aggressive driving in Boston. And Beckham, he's from Texas. Y'all are polite. We aren't.
Bullshit. No, dude, Dallas is the worst city to drive in the country. That was last year. Look at the statistics.
Go. Cut them off. Go. Anyway.
I got you to Sebring's business door. Remember how you made me do this illegal U-turn in front of a major turning point? Look, and I was like, oh my God. I'm like, I hope the cops don't. Well, actually, you know what though? LAPD, just like Dallas, you don't ever see Dallas police patrolling the streets anyway, unless there's an accident. Mm-hmm. Same thing with LAPD. They're never driving or they don't ever drive around.
I think I don't remember. Important things
I don't remember seeing them on the you know what I mean, like on the streets. Yeah. But anyway, it's just now that I think about it, so we probably didn't have anything to worry about.
Except for the guy in our Airbnb.
Yeah, but hey, but just yeah, exactly, right. But just imagine we were like, hey, jaywalking across the street. Hey, well, wait a minute, whoa. Can't jaywalk in LA. Oh, dude, I did go. Okay, so you know those crosswalks? Where? Nobody in Texas walks anywhere, so we have them in the crosswalks, right? You know how you cross. Okay. Nobody, I mean, unless you're in downtown, like downtown, everybody uses it because, of course, you're walking, people walk to work or people that live downtown, whatever. But other than that, nobody in Texas walks anywhere. Everybody drives or whatever, motorcycles. So nobody ever uses them. So they go over them at the light, right? So however, I was in like California one time and I literally was over the line, like not a lot, maybe like a quarter over it. And the cop comes up. I think I was in Long Beach, and the LBC cop comes up to me, and he like tells me to put the thing, and he's like, "I need you to get back." He was like cussing. He was like ripping me a new one, dude, just because I was a little bit over the line. I was like, "Oh my God!" I was like, "Never." All right, my bad, y'all. Everybody walks in California. Y'all want to like save the fuel or whatever from the air. My bad. So. But yeah, so I did have an incident with the LBC police officer one time about the crosswalk. That's about
it. Chris James says no rules in Boston. Yeah, with driving. Yeah,
because Danny picked me up from the airport, and this lady and this dude got into an argument at a light. Remember that?
Mm-hmm.
Was it? Yeah, it was right. It was when you picked me up from the airport, I believe.
For the record, I was just there. It was really Auntie Mimi because let's keep in mind you walked out of the airport and you ran to her and gave her a hug, and I just sat there like, okay.
Yeah. It's almost like she had a sign that says Beckham, welcome.
She did not have a sign that says Beckham. She might as well have though. She loves you, and I don't know why.
She was my welcoming committee into Boston.
She was. K-Dog is saying they don't get out of the way of emergency vehicles up there. Oh, you're not wrong. Tony Stewart wishes that there was video between me and you. I think he's referencing when you were driving and I was yelling at you driving. That would have gone viral because Beckham, just
dude. In LA, they will freaking jump on you for jaywalking, but shoplifting over. And just taking anything over $1,000 is good. Oh, actually, it was they were voting for that. Like, should criminals that steal over like whatever that was one of the things that you were voting on in California this past 2 weeks. And I
Oh.
think they're still counting votes for certain parts of California, not the president, the other stuff, not the president, the other stuff. Yeah.
Well, that doesn't impact me, so I'm not concerned.
No.
But all right. All right, we're half hour in. Let's get into Chris James is saying yes, it passed. Okay. Let's get into Richard Allen, Delphi. So Beckham, I messaged you. What was this Monday when the
Monday,
verdict
yeah, I think it was
came in.
Monday, yeah.
Yep. So I will let you guys know the outcome, and then we'll just trail back a little bit to remind y'all of how this trial came about. So Richard Allen, he was found guilty on Monday of 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of felony murder. This is for the 2017 deaths of 13-year-old Abigail Williams and 14-year-old Liberty German. As we learned in the trial, the girls' throats were cut. That information was kept mostly from the public, but it was brought up during the trial. So the prosecutors told the jurors, quote, Richard Allen is bridge guy, end quote. He also went on to say, quote, he kidnapped them and then later murdered them, end quote. Jurors got to see graphic photos of the girls' bodies, the bridge guy video, which they said captured the final moments of the girls' lives, and a recording of Richard confessing to his wife during a phone call from prison. We know that he confessed over 61 times. He told his wife, quote, I did it. I killed Abby and Libby, end quote. The defense argued that there was no physical evidence tying Richard to the killings and said the confessions that he made in the past were, quote, false, end quote, and stemmed from being in solitary confinement for months and his mental health deteriorated due to that. So let's see. The defense had originally hoped to introduce the Odinism defense. I know we've talked about that before on here.
That's what I was bringing up to you that same day about the cult thing. But
But the Judge Gall repeatedly rejected motions to introduce it because they didn't have anything really substantial besides it was an Odinist. So the jury deliberated for 19 hours before they reached their verdict. The verdict was read and Richard Allen sat there emotionless. His lawyers comforted him before he was handcuffed and led away out of the courtroom. The judge did leave a gag order in place, restricting involved parties from speaking on the case until Richard Allen is sentenced. As of now, that sentencing is scheduled for December 20th. He could be sentenced to up to 130 years in prison. The crowd outside of the courthouse erupted in applause and cheers after the guilty verdict was announced. Richard Allen's wife, Kathy, said, quote, this isn't over at all, end quote, as she left the courtroom. What are you thinking, Beckham?
the only thing, I mean, I was a couple of things here. Some people in the true crime community knew about the details of the murders that kept it tight-lipped for a year, which was I was like, wow, shocking, because usually people like to talk about stuff. There aren't very many secret keepers in these times anymore. So that was surprised that information never really got out. It was kind of like shocking about the details of the murders, and that they finally showed the jury of the extent of those of the murders. So I'm pretty sure they were probably blown away themselves. I'm sad. The thing I was asking you about was the connection to the possible cult stuff. But if the judge said no, we're going this route, like he controlled the scenario, and he controlled the direction of the case. So I mean, you got the conviction you wanted. So, and hopefully, I'm pretty sure that was the truth that came out. So now the sentencing part is gonna, right?
Yep, scheduled for December 20th. So there's another twist to this, and I'll get to it in a second. It's not in the notes. Let's see. K-Dog is saying, I hope they got the right person, but something doesn't seem right about the trial. So K-Dog, thank you for saying that. It actually leads me into the next point. Since this has happened, there has been, obviously you're always going to have people that think, maybe the jury got it wrong, he's innocent or whatnot.
Yeah.
And there's always going to be that regardless of the trial. For me, what I've been listening to is quite a bit of legal experts and people who are either still practicing attorneys or retired attorneys on both sides. And the defense attorneys are really saying that they're not necessarily saying he's innocent, he didn't do it. They're arguing is Richard Allen did not get a fair trial, and here's why. And listening to a lot of their points, I was like, they're making great points. So obviously Richard Allen and his defense will appeal. That's just standard practice. They will appeal. I'm wondering if it will get overturned. I'm really wondering if it will get overturned.
Okay, so I'm an intelligence investigator type person, right? And what's funny is I have some really smart lawyer friends in my core of friends, my circle of core friends, right? And we talk about different things sometimes. And it's easy to get stuck for me, it's like you see some stuff, you go through it, and you're like, well, we have this evidence, we have this, we have that, and then they come back around and are like, and they completely the lawyer people put you on or my friends in a situation will put me on a different thought process. And I'm like, damn it. Okay. You have a point. But that's what lawyers do, right? So that's what they will open up like almost your thought process and bring the other creative and almost creative, innovative thoughts to why it possibly might not be something that you're thinking is the result. And even when you have substantial evidence or some critical information about something, right? So that happens all the time. And as investigators, you sometimes you're blind. You have the blinders on, right? To where you're just like right here, and then they open up the spectrum for you, and that's what happens sometimes. And that's they could have just. It seems this is what happened in this case, right? You started hearing different ideas and things of actual and factual not about the actual case, but what do you call it, like the direction and policies and things like that of a potential overturn, like you said. So
yes.
Yeah. So man, that can be, like I said, when you're the investigator or whatever facilitator of a case, sometimes you're right here, and then the other ideas and thoughts come and open up a different door or window to the case.
Yeah, and it's one of those. So I watched the case, so
Right.
it wasn't like I was listening to somebody else's interpretation of it. Like I would listen to like these points, and I'm like, okay, I remember that, or if I didn't, I could go back and see it.
Yeah.
And when I say watch the case, meaning the little bit that was shown to the public, because it wasn't fully publicly made, but I did do my due diligence in listening to both sides, because I think that's just the best way to be fair. Yeah, tunnel vision. Thank you, Todd. That's the word Beckham was going for.
Yeah, tunnel vision.
But I will say the one podcast or set of attorneys that I really was like, oh my God, I really think they have a good point. Again, they're not saying he's innocent. It's more of there wasn't a fair trial, and here's the points as why, is the Defense Diaries podcast. So Bob Mata and Ali Mata. So I've actually was very fortunate to meet Bob and Ali at both CrimeCon Nashville and CrimeCon Orlando. And I've always been a big fan of their podcast, the Defense Diaries podcast, but they're defense attorneys by that's their day job. They also do this podcast, and he knows what he's talking about.
Oh
Bob is
yeah, I mean, right.
so
That's what I'm
smart.
talking. Yeah, right.
His father was actually one of John Wayne Gacy's attorneys.
Mm,
So
sure.
being a defense attorney runs in his family, but
Really smart, man. There's some smart people out
he's
there,
so
man.
smart, and I
Yeah,
really
there's
take
some
what he
smart. Yeah,
says. So
right.
I was like, okay, and then I'm like, okay, he mentions this point. He's not wrong. Like, yeah. So people, if you want to go down that rabbit hole, check it out for yourself. But it just it made me look at it a different way. Again, I'm not saying that the wrong guy was convicted. It's just, it's
No,
interesting.
procedure. You're talking about procedural stuff.
Procedurally,
Yeah, that's
strictly
what I'm right, and
procedurally.
that's what I'm talking about.
And that's
When
the things
right,
that overturn when
right,
we get
exactly. That's what
overturned.
I
That's
yes,
why.
right.
So
Hmm.
I'll be curious to see if that happens in this case.
That's why
Usually,
before my unit has to present a case to the U.S. Attorney, everything has to be in order. You can't
mhm,
have anything out of place because, man, I'm telling you, once you go and you bring it before a grand jury or a judge,
mhm.
they're gonna look. You got to have everything straight. Look at what happened to Trooper Proctor.
We're not talking about him
I-
this week. I wanted to, but I'm like, no, we need a
no,
break.
no, we need to rest on that dude a
We
little
need a
bit.
break. It's not over
I'm
with
just
him.
saying.
Guaranteed.
I'm just saying. You don't have to go into.
It's just
You can play
his
that trombone for
name
him.
will never. That is not a saxophone
Or
sound, Beckham.
whatever.
So Tony Stewart has a comment. Beckham has some high up friends. I was shocked to learn that when me and Beckham were friends, that he had other friends beside me. I was shocked.
K Dog has a good point. Seeing it in real time as a juror is totally different. You're right, dude.
No, you're right.
That is so right.
You're right.
Yeah,
And I'm not disagreeing with the verdict. I'm not.
right.
It's
Yeah,
just one of those, from a procedural perspective, there was a lot of really good points made. And I'm like, wow, that I wouldn't be shocked if it went up to some sort of appeal and actually had a chance
yeah,
based on that. That's all. And I don't feel that with most convictions, but this one I was like, oh, it could be. We'll see. We'll see. I don't know. But again, the sentencing is scheduled for December 20th. We'll keep you guys posted. So, number 2 tonight, Melody Ferris. So we have not talked about this case on this channel, but it has been one that I was following. It went to trial and the trial is now over. So I will let you guys know what happened, and then we're going to rewind and give you a little bit of perspective on why this even occurred. So Melody Ferris has been found guilty on all counts. So what happened? She was accused of killing her husband, Gary Ferris, and then burning his body on their property. Melody showed no emotion as the judge read that she was found guilty on all 5 counts. Those 5 counts were malice murder, felony murder, aggravated assault, concealing the death of another, and making a false statement. Prosecutors' argument was that Melody was the only one with motive and opportunity to kill her husband. The defense is saying there are too many unanswered questions to convict. What they tried to do during the trial was to blame the murder on her son, Scott, because Scott was the one who discovered the burned body of his father in a burn pit on the property in July of 2018. Scott testified that his mom only showed emotion once the investigators told them the remains were human. During testimony, it was revealed that Melody Ferris actually back in 2009 had an affair with a guy named Ted. I believe his last name is pronounced Y. It's just spelled W-Y. Emily, Melody's daughter, testified that this affair led to a breakdown in the marriage and that the relationship never fully recovered despite her father's efforts to reconcile. Emily recalled her mother's influence over family decisions and financial control despite being removed from joint bank accounts after the affair. So when Gary died, it was originally deemed to be a medical incident, but once the discovery of a bullet was found in his remains, that changed things. So in the end, again, Melody was found guilty, and her sentencing hearing is scheduled for the first week of December. I have a couple of thoughts on that, but Beckham, what are you thinking based on the little bit of a recap that I did for y'all?
Dude, murder happens for two reasons: sex and money. Which one was it?
Money.
There you go. Boom. Done.
Sex
Done
too.
deal.
A little bit of sex too.
Yeah, there you go. She was the one that was going to benefit the most, right? So that was the motive. That's what you're trying to find. This one was probably pretty easy though.
A little bit.
Well, it was a breakdown in the relationship, that amount, was there an affair? What's going on? That type of thing.
Renee, you are absolutely right. So what stuck out to me from the trial, the defense, and I know I just really recapped this for you guys. If you kind of want to research it more, if you find this case interesting, please do so. The defense blaming the son, blaming Scott. It's I hate that when it's one of those, okay, a jury of her peers found her guilty. She had the reason, the motive, that she was the one to benefit from her husband's death. To blame this on your child to try to escape being found guilty,
that's
really makes
very
me
deviant.
mad.
That's deviant, really bad.
It really makes me mad.
Yeah.
It's one thing if they had some type of evidence, like actual evidence to say, well, he's the one who found his father. So yeah, he must have done it. One, how traumatic is that? I mean, we're talking about, an adult here, but how traumatic is that at no matter what age to find your deceased parent dead, to find out that they've been murdered, and then your mom is on trial for that murder and she's throwing you under the bus saying, actually, you were the one that did it. I don't know.
Hey man, at least you're not talking about the grandmother who kidnapped two people, killed them, put them in a freezer locker, and was gonna have them buried out in some land.
I know what trial you're talking about.
Oh, and grandmothers hey, don't be messing with grandmas, man. They will order some hits out on people. Well, you know what I mean, yeah, because they're not gonna do any of the dirt. They're old. They're not gonna do any of the heavy lifting in the crime. But they sure know who to call.
I was listening to an update on that today.
I'm sorry. I'm not trying to make fun of it. I'm just, you know what I mean.
So Beckham is talking about Jillian Kelly and Veronica Butler. That's the one. And Jillian Kelly's autopsy was just released. Veronica Butler's, as far as I know, has not been released yet. So check that out. But I know exactly what right when you said that, I'm like, oh my God, I'm following that case.
Grandmother got crazy with the chainsaw.
But that goes back to, look at that. That goes
Dude,
right back to
hey man, I'm telling you, don't mess with grandmas. Grandmas will get it done if you piss them off.
But this was not. No.
See, Renee's like, don't mess with the granny. I'm telling you, and they won't get their hands dirty. They'll find somebody to do it.
A few things here. Capone says the lawyer's job is to bring up reasonable doubt. Okay, so Capone's talking back in regards to Richard Allen. The conversation we have. Yes, I do agree. And putting the reasonable doubt aside, to me, it was more of the, what's the word I'm looking for? Procedurally. It was more procedurally that they were looking at it from that perspective. And that's what kind of made me really take a different look at it. They got people. K-Dog asks, K-Dog, you're getting a star for that? Has Sarah Boone been able to get her Pop-Tarts?
She got her Pop-Tarts? I forgot about that. What about her little candies?
Oh, 5 mints.
There you go. Yeah, the mints.
5 mints.
Would you like some? They should have just got her some Banaka. It's just an easy spray.
Does that stuff still even exist? Beckham, you are showing your age right now. And it's
No,
sad. And then I'm
I
showing mine
no.
for
Do you
knowing what the
remember?
hell you're talking about.
Do you remember Ace Ventura, Pet Detective? Would you like some banaka?
I don't think that stuff exists anymore. Oh my God.
And he's
Beckham
crazy.
were those people. Beckham were those people that like the young kids of today, like here we're saying, oh, do you remember this? Do you remember that? And the kids of today are like, that doesn't exist. Ugh, what are you talking about? Beckham
Yeah,
were
yeah,
those
you. Oh,
people.
yeah, of course, we're already those people, dude.
I always thought you and Paul were those people. Now I'm part of that.
You
And
are.
that
You're
really makes me
officially part
sad.
of that group now.
I'm Tony Stewart. I loved my grandma's home phone on a party line. I was too young for the party lines, but I hear it was good. I hear it was good.
Dude, grandmas let you get away with everything.
Well, they're not getting away with no, I don't think they're going to be getting away.
That's where I got to watch MTV, was grandma's house. That's where I got to watch Grease 2, Michelle Pfeiffer riding that bike.
Really? Really?
I think
Beckham?
some people know what I'm talking about.
Do you need a cold
I was
shower
like
right about
7. I
now?
think I
What
was
are you
like
doing?
7 or 8 years old too, or something like that. I don't remember.
Beckham, I swear to God, depending on where you're going with this, if you don't go there. Don't go there. Renee's comment is not, I'm sure, not in relation to what you just said, but I'm adding to it. We don't want to know your story. All right.
Michelle Pfeiffer was the star of Grease 2.
Yep. The movie Gangster's Paradise with
Yep.
LL Cool
But that
J.
was later. That was a whole
God,
15
yeah,
years.
that was later.
That was like 15 years after the Grease 2. Come on. She's already like 40
That
something
just
now.
shows how good of a career she had. Knock it off. Let's see. Tony L. Do never apologize here, hon. Do not apologize. So you're asking if it's have we seen the breaking
Oh,
news?
don't get me started. Don't get me started, because I brought this up to Paul, and Paul's like, we talked about it. I'm like, dude, no, we haven't. And that yeah, what you're talking about, Tony, that completely changes a lot of stuff, and it changes my outlook. And I'll tell you why if Danny gives me 2 minutes on it.
1 second. No, he's not there. Capone, did I really say LL Cool J? You're right. It was
Yeah, it was
Coolio.
Coolio.
If I said LL Cool J, my apologies to
Mama
LL.
gonna
Wrong
knock you
movie. Thank you
out.
for correcting
I'm
me.
gonna knock you out. That's what, because you
All
got
right,
the Mike
Beckham,
Tyson
you have
fight on your
2
head.
minutes. 1, 2, 3, go.
All right, so it came out that apparently there's audio of, I was gonna say Tyson. There's audio of Manson. Audio of Manson saying he left bodies on the beach in Mexico. He was in Mexico for like 2 years, which nobody really knew the amount of time that he was in Mexico. I know Tom O has put out there that he was between here and there, so we knew he was in Mexico. But apparently, he's made the comment, made in quote, that he left bodies on the beach and that he used a 357. And for those of you that have shot gun, I have actually gone to the gun range, or you've been in the military or maybe law enforcement, you shot a 357, they have a major kickback. So what that proves to me is a small stature man using a 357 had the experience of, well, he talks about murdering people. So he's officially now told on himself that he had left bodies behind. 1, 2, he shot a 357, which now kind of goes with me, kind of puts me in the thought process. Okay, he wasn't scared to go up on Crow. He wasn't scared. He already had done it. It's a close range gun. A 357 is a huge pushback on when you shoot it. You could put a hole in someone's chest with that. So it's yeah, it just kind of solidified some things for me that I already thought about. Dangerous family was dangerous. And you know, I've been calling them a criminal syndicate since we started, and it just proved me right again. And it proved me right that he wasn't scared, and he was the criminal that it's gonna add, and to end it, it's gonna add more lore to him, is really what it's gonna do. There you go. And it just solidified everything that I've been talking about him since I started this. He was a criminal. He was dangerous. There you go.
Wow, you kept good, nice, kept it under the clock. Hope that answered your question, Tony. So, all right. Yeah, Renee added that. And also, she has no confidence in the Guardian. Todd says he 100% agrees with you.
Yep, completely. He's going to add lore to him, and they were dangerous, and that the ranch was a compound. It was, and they practiced stabbing and they practiced shooting, and they were not. They were. I mean, dude, seriously, you have a law enforcement agency using budget money to follow them, to do all this other stuff, to pay attention to them. That costs money. When something costs money, you know it's worth it. It is worth it. It's worth it, right? Somebody has to sign off on the money being used, paid salaries being paid, that kind of thing. You guys got to think about that stuff too. They were a dangerous group. They were a legitimate syndicate to me, a criminal syndicate. Maybe not like on a higher level, but on a minimal level, yes, they were a gang, and they probably and I've talked about it. I think they killed more than that's on the books, and he just admitted with on himself that he did it on with that he committed murder or whatever on his own. So anyway, there you go.
Opponent is saying, didn't he say he killed French tourists in Mexico?
I don't know if it what nationality. It was just he left bodies on the beach.
Tony L says thank you. Tony Stewart also agrees with you, Beckham.
Thanks, guys. Yep. Yeah, it's gonna add lore to him. It's gonna give him more lore. It's gonna make him look more like everybody that's over the age of 60. When you mention Manson, they will tell you he's the devil. It's gonna add to that. It's gonna add to the Bug story. It's gonna add to. This is gonna add to the complete lore of him and the family. That's what it's gonna do.
Yeah.
You know it's true, Danny. I mean, you
Oh no, I'm not arguing. That's like one of the, even if people
when
are
his
not into
quote,
true crime,
right?
it's
Yeah.
instilled that Charles Manson is like the most evil guy.
When he literally quoted as saying, "I left bodies on the beach."
Well, thank you for going over that, Beckham. Thank you, Tony L, for asking that. And yeah, don't ever apologize. Don't ever apologize. We're here to answer as best we can and if we can your true crime questions. Yeah, and that just came out. So Tony
Yeah, and
L,
Renee
we're right
agrees
on
with the
top of it.
357. I was shocked when he 350. I was like, "Whoa, wait a minute! He shot a 357? Holy shit, man!" Like, wow, that yeah, same thing with Renee. Thought the same thing. We thought her and I were on the same wavelength there.
Yeah. Moving off of the Charles Manson topic. So one more case to update you guys on, and then there's one that is on trial now that I've been going down the rabbit hole that we need to talk about. But before we get to that last one, so Laken Riley. So the Laken Riley murder is now on trial. So this has been a huge case. And just to give you guys a little bit of an update on it, because we haven't talked about this before. And I was actually watching footage from it today before we came on for this. So Jose Ibarra is a Venezuelan national, and he's charged with the murder of Laken Riley. She was an Augusta University student on the University of Georgia campus in February. That's when the murder occurred. And Jose Ibarra has chosen a trial by judge over jury. Jose is accused of attacking and murdering Riley while she was jogging along highly pedestrian trails on the school's campus on the morning of February 22nd, 2024. So the bench trial again began today. There is some
Yeah, that
clips
was all
online.
over everything. It was. I had it in the background. I didn't mean to have it in the background. It was in the background because yeah,
What do
it
you
was
think from
bad.
what you saw?
Well, I didn't know that they had her Apple Watch timed basically timed her death, and that she fought for 18 minutes and all the information was based out of the Apple Watch that was on her wrist, right? And that the heart, it measured her heart, and that she was fighting back because the heart rate, and that it measured heart rate, which was mind-blowing to me, because now that kind of gave you another insight and a different mechanism of information that was used in a murder, which
Mhm.
was interesting to me now. So yeah, that was actually pretty interesting. That's
Yeah.
what that's what blew me away, actually.
So a few more tidbits on that. So Jose and his brothers, they lived in an apartment building that sits on the edge of the on-campus park where Riley was running. So it is alleged that Jose murdered Riley as a quote crime of opportunity, end quote. In May, a Georgia grand jury indicted Jose on counts of malice murder, 2 counts of kidnapping with bodily injury, 2 counts of aggravated assault with intent to rape, 2 counts of aggravated battery, obstructing or hindering a person from making a 911 call, and tampering with evidence and being a peeping Tom. So the peeping Tom charge stems from another incident in February. So on February 22nd, so again, right around the same time, Jose allegedly went to a residence on the school's campus where he peeped through a window and spied upon a university staff member. So obviously the defense tried to get that tossed out of court, but of course the state was like, no, 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 this is very much relevant to Riley's
Yeah,
murder. The
right.
judge allowed it. So,
Now, real quick on Renee's point, big discussion in election. Yeah, and I'm not going to get political. It doesn't really matter what side of the fence you are. The truth of the matter is about the border. The border is bad. I don't care what side of you're independent, red, blue, purple. I don't care. The border is bad. The Border Patrol's budget got reduced in this last, this last cabinet that went through, or whatever went through. Um, so you've had a lot of local sheriffs talking about it, that kind of thing on the borders and things like that. It's bad. Now, what's bad, and I'm not talking about it. I'm not talking about immigrants coming over. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is where there are known criminals that cross and get sent back that were let back in. That's the problem. And then, of course, the children and the families getting, of course, that's going on to the government. Actually, I think a year ago, finally admitted that they weren't in compliance, that they weren't keeping up with the kids and the families, and all kinds of stuff was happening with that. So those are two major components of the border, in which kind of really maximizes that outlook of the border is bad, and it is bad, and that's why it's bad. And not only do you have this poor girl's life that was taken from her, you have other cases similar to the fact, right?
mhm.
That kind of thing. And the border is bad, so bad that the guy that ran it successfully a couple of teams before is out of retire. He's retired. He's like old, but he's gonna come back because he's very passionate about the border and he knows how to deal with the border. He's got experiences. He's been with the Border Patrol since 1984. So I mean, you're talking 40 something years ago, 40 years ago, right? Yeah, 40 years ago. This guy's retired. He's gonna come out of retirement to fix it, and it needs to be fixed. And the problem is these people, these criminals are getting we're crossing back after being pushed out, right?
Mhm.
Without any, without checking or whatever, due diligence, whatever you want to call it. So that was the problem. And then that's where, and of course you do have those gangs that you're hearing about in Colorado and whatever in San Antonio. That's real. That's happening. It's just the local police departments don't want to put themselves out there as not functioning to protect. That's the whole thing about a local police department, is to protect and to serve and protect the citizens of that city or town, whatever, right? And
Mhm.
they don't want to look bad. But yeah, those gangs are coming in and causing a lot of trouble. That is real. And they're the South American gang. I forgot their name. A lot of them are South American gangs that are coming over. So that stuff is real. And it's sad that it happened to this girl, but she's not the only one. You had a 12-year-old girl out of Houston that got the same thing happen to her like a few months ago. So it's really bad. We're going to get with government, it's going to fix the border. Finally, it's going to get it fixed. And it's going to happen soon. That's probably one of the first things that's going to happen that needed to happen. And it's unfortunate that this happened. when it shouldn't have happened.
Okay.
Don't care what side of the fence you're on either. It doesn't matter. We're the United States government, and we need to protect our citizens.
So thank you for going a little bit more into detail on that, because yes, following up on Renee's comment that this was a big case that was talked about during the discussion. I know we hadn't talked about it here before, but so a lot of people are aware of it from that. There's a couple comments. Tony Stewart, I saw something about this week on Twitter or Facebook. K-Dog, clearly aware of this. That guy's a monster, should never be free again. Yeah, and like Beckham said, well, Todd saying Beckham telling it as it is. That's all Beckham knows how to do. So yes, yeah, Beckham's no bullshit. But yeah, it's Beckham was spot on that this murder. I mean, no murder. There's no excuse for any murder. Let's just be, first and foremost. But because of the complexities regarding his Venezuelan, that he's a Venezuelan national, it just added a whole nother level, especially at the time of election. So, yeah.
Yeah, those MS-30. I don't know what he was, but they're very dangerous. I mean, they are extremely dangerous. They don't care. They're like a cartel. They don't care about kids or women and whatever. They don't care. It's what they're gonna do, and you have to keep them out. And we don't even know who's coming in the country right now. It'll stop soon. The border patrol will get their we're waiting for our budgets to get passed. Everybody, all the federal agencies are waiting for their budgets. Everybody is. So
yes,
there's the border patrol will get their budget back. They'll be able to hire more agents. They'll be able to get more supervision, more equipment, more weapons, more trucks, more whatever they need. They're gonna have. Trust me, they're gonna have more weapons, more trucks. Whatever they need, helicopter, whatever they're going to need, it's going to be approved, and it's going to be, trust me, it's going to happen, and their border will be protected. A year from now, the border will be secured.
Todd's adding, I live 90 miles from Denver. All right. Yeah, you guys are kind of talking in the chat a little bit about this. It's such a complex issue, and yeah, as Beckham's saying, hopefully it gets resolved. But I know a lot of eyes are on, kind of going back to this senseless, just brutal murder. And what you were talking about earlier with, her Apple Watch, and in regards to
that was interesting.
I just feel so bad for her family that has to yes, she put up a fight and good for her. I mean, she wasn't going down without a fight, but it's one of those, the fact that her family has to hear this, and that because of, again, the issues surrounding this case, their daughter's, sister, loved one's murder became a huge discussion during the debate. It just took on another level. Now there's like a whole spotlight on it. So this isn't just like local news, maybe national, because it's a true crime case. It took on, there's a lot to this case. So
yeah, it was a little girl out of Houston when I first got here. Same thing happened to her. 12 years old, by two nationals were immigrants. I don't know from where, but yeah, they caught them.
Yeah.
And yeah, sad. I think there's about three or four cases like that. You have hers, the little girl 12-year-old from Houston. There's another one somewhere else, Alabama, or there's like 3 or 4 cases that are very similar. You just don't hear about them, I think when Trump came into Texas, he had the mother of the 12-year-old on the stage. So there was a little bit of forefront there, but the other cases that I've seen, there's about 3 or 4, similar cases.
So in regards to this case, we will certainly keep you posted on this. It's huge on social media right now. Like if you're on Instagram and following, any true crime pages, like it's like everywhere. But we'll
Renee, that's interesting. Renee put an interesting message on there about when she crashed her bike, the Apple Watch. That's interesting. So I guess it reads your heart rate, I guess, shooting up, since you're something, your panic mode. Not in panic mode, but you know what I mean. Like you're.
It realizes there's some distress. Yeah.
Yeah.
Technology, man, I think people underestimate, and we've seen how it's stuff like this, or on iPads, iPhones, all of that stuff has just, like, I think things that people haven't thought of, and they're getting busted for it, which we'll see what happens with this trial. Again, Jose Ibarra chose a judge over a jury.
It's just that with this girl, like you said, the family has to really see that that her last 18 seconds, man, or I think it's 18 seconds if I'm not correct, was measured by this component of technology that kind of gives them maybe it gives them a sense of, I don't know, sense of closure. I mean, her last 18 seconds that she fought for her life. You know what I mean?
Is there ever?
No, I mean, it's just almost like having that like missed call or that voicemail, but something that's, you know what I mean? Somebody. I don't know.
I think that this could help bring their family some justice.
Yeah. For sure. Yes, for sure.
Depending on the prosecution, how they present the case. Again, just started today. That this is just one piece of technology that's a good thing because it's trackable, that could bring the Lakin's family some justice.
Yep.
Yeah. We'll see. So the last case for tonight, it's on trial now. We've not talked about this. When it came up, it was kind of, it was in the news, but now it's from France. But now that the trial's happening and the excuses from a lot of the men, it's a rabbit hole that I am deep diving into because there's so many levels to it. I went out to dinner with Liz and another friend the other night, and I'm like, okay, we need to talk about this case. We need to talk about this case. Like, a perfectly acceptable dinner conversation. I don't know, but I was just so like, I'm going down this rabbit hole and I need people to go with me because I want to talk about it. Beckham, I sent the information to you and Paul to be like, look into this case. We need to talk. So for those of you who are wondering, Danny, what the hell are you talking about? So we're completely switching gears from the case we just talked about. Hey, Rabbit. Giselle Pelicott. So the trial is going on now, and there's so much to it. Again, I'm going to condense it for you guys. I'm sure this is one where you guys would be like, oh, yeah, I did hear about that. But again, the trial's happening now. Yeah, James Watson, Danny, what the hell are you talking about? Yeah, fair. So Giselle is 72, and she's the victim of mass rape that her husband of over 50 years orchestrated, and 50 of her attackers are on trial. She chose to have this public to help other women and to basically change the society in France and everywhere, to be honest, because this is just a conversation that no matter where you are in the world, we're having this conversation. So her husband, Dominique, has admitted to inviting dozens of strangers over for nearly 10 years to sexually abuse and rape his wife after he drugged her so that she would be unconscious. Part of this exchange, I suppose is the word, Dominique told the other men, I want to film the rapes. So while this was going on for over 10 years.
Wait, what state is this in?
This is in France.
Oh, country.
So the sex laws are very different, and we're going to get to that.
Okay, I'm sorry.
We're going to get to that.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So while this was happening, the 10 years that this was occurring, Giselle had no idea. But what she did know was that she was getting more forgetful. And this went on for a while. She went to a ton of different doctors for testing. Because again, be starting, is, dementia or Alzheimer's to start in the 60s, in your 60s young. Yes. But at first that was what maybe she and her family thought was going on. But everything, all tests came back normal. Nothing was coming up abnormal. But, here she is, she's forgetting a lot of things. She's having these lapses of memory. So, she stopped driving because that's not safe. And she went out less and less because she was having these bouts of being forgetful. So, with that being said, the way it kind of came forward, how it came to light was the police went to interview her and said, how are you feeling? How did you wake up today? And she's like, what are you talking about? I'm fine. They showed her an image of a guy and a woman basically engaging in sex in bed.
Mm-hmm.
And she's looking at it and she recognizes that that's her bedroom. She realizes that's her in the picture, but she has no idea who the guy is and doesn't remember. And then they show her another photo and another photo and another photo. And again, if you're wondering why are there so many photos,
this is weird.
Dominique filmed it. Oh, Beckham, I'm not even close to done. I'm going to throw a lot at you guys, and then we're going to have a conversation. This is so. Anyway,
you would, Danny, after the trombone talk.
So several.
I'm just playing, dude.
This again, French law is very different, and we're going to get to that. Look at Beckham, I'm not even interested.
No, I'm trying. No, I'm listening. I got you. I'm listening.
So several of the accused men, and there were about 80, I believe it was 81, 82, or 83 men in these videos. Police were able to identify 50 of them. And several of the men that are accused and they're on trial as well, are saying, well, they thought that she was fake sleeping, or, well, she agreed to this. Some of the men, some have apologized to Giselle, but Giselle told the court that the apologies were basically inaudible, and quote, by apologizing, they are trying to excuse themselves, end quote. The biggest thing is that she thought she had the perfect marriage over 50 years. So think of this betrayal. It's huge. And she is saying, quote, I'm a woman who's totally destroyed, end quote. They had adult kids. Their kids are they now have to deal with this as well. So again, she thought she had the perfect husband. And she says, quote, my life has tumbled into nothingness, end quote.
Any chance this guy has a relationship with Polanski?
Oh my God.
I'm not trying to be funny.
I know you're not trying to be funny.
I'm just trying to be real here.
If so, it will come out in trial. But again, he's admitting. He's not trying to say, no. And we'll get to
has a Roman Polanski-ish feel to this dude.
God, I can't with Roman Polanski. I really can't. So the way that these men were brought into the situation, because these men would show up at the Paulcast house, the Paulcast home, is the husband, Dominique, was on shady websites, shady forums about rape and drugging someone so that they're not conscious, not awake. And that's how he would advertise his wife. So keep that in mind. This is on a platform where it's very clear what is being advertised.
Did he put her out in those magazines?
What?
Put it out in the paper?
Well, online.
Yeah, you know what I mean?
Online. And again, these messages and text messages between these other men, so that it's all traceable. This is 2024. It's all traceable. So despite video evidence against 50 men, 35 of them have denied the rape charges. They claim Dominique tricked them into believing that she was part of the sex game, or that Giselle was faking being asleep. So there were two men who, again, found this online, was, oh yeah, I want to be a part of this, showed up, walked in and saw Giselle in bed unconscious, and they left. They did not want to part in this. The thing is, they didn't call police. They should have called police. And
Okay, so are we talking? Are there sexual dungeons, cameras everywhere? Are we talking
it's
like
in
a
the
Diddy?
bedroom. It's
Are we
in the
talking Diddy
master
stuff
bedroom.
here? Oil, baby oil?
Beckham,
No.
don't joke with this.
I'm just playing.
No, this is horrific as is, does not need the additional. So
I don't know. Some people in the chat don't believe her, but I don't. That's why I'm kind of going in that direction.
we'll
But
get to your comments. We'll get to your comments in the chat. There's just a lot that I want to get through, and then we'll get to that. So Dominique, again, is blaming Giselle for another thing. So she contracted 4 STDs.
oh wow.
And Dominique, the husband, is saying, well, you must have, you're the one that, you're forgetting things. You probably went out and did X, Y, and Z, and you're the one that brought this into the marriage. When in reality, we know what would happen. So Dominique, when he would allow these men to come in, so he'd allow these men to come in, he would drug his wife so she was unconscious so that they could rape her. He would let the men choose whether or not to wear condoms with his wife. Several of the men who didn't use condoms, Dominique knew that they were HIV positive.
Whoa.
So, again, the trial's happening now. Let's get a little bit into French law. This is something I tried to, again, recap as best I could. And they're trying to get this changed. Again, we know the French are very open
French
in regards
law
to,
as
they don't want
popular
people
as
limiting their sexuality, their
Yeah.
bodies, so on and so
you're
forth.
basically like Stanford law.
So, French criminal law defines rape as a penetrative act or oral sex act committed on someone using, quote, violence, coercion, threat, or surprise, end quote. It makes no clear mention of the need for a partner's consent, and prosecutors must prove the intention to rape to secure a guilty verdict. France has been so reluctant to move away from this definition. And of course, again, the Paulcast trial has brought this issue into the forefront. One of the arguments that a lot of these men who are denying that they were involved in any rape is they're saying we had the husband's consent, that his wife's, that's his wife, so it wasn't rape. He said it was fine. Or maybe a little bit more old school, because there are some of the men saying this, that the wife is the husband's property. So if the husband's saying, you can do that with my wife, well, she belongs to him, so it's fine.
That's kind of sounds like Middle Eastern law.
I mean, we're talking France, so not quite Middle Eastern, but okay, I just recapped a lot and threw a lot at you guys. Let's let it digest, let it marinate. But this is just, again,
I think porn was invented in France.
I don't know, Beckham.
I thought you would know that.
But what is
what
is your thoughts on this?
Well, I mean, okay, like I just literally told you, I think porn or illegal movies back in like the 20s came out of France. 1, 2, does this guy have a relationship with Roman Polanski? And 3, you're talking about a different society, different rules than what we're used to, right? I mean, what is the sex? Do you know the age of what do you call it when it's legal?
Consent?
Yeah. Do you know the legal age of consent in France?
Not
Because I think they allowed to drink wine like 12.
Okay, the legal age of consent in France is 15.
There you go.
And this law was passed in April 2021.
Oh, I'm sorry, it's recent. Okay. Well, there you go. I should tell you something.
Yeah.
I know California, was trying to pass a law that not, how do I put this? That legal, was it legal consent to be 12? But I don't think it ever made it. But anyway, yeah. So you're starting to see the world shift in the consent age.
Mm-hmm.
So you start pushing it here and there a little bit, you'll start seeing the age drop. You've seen
Yeah.
that in the last 5 years.
It's just, this is on the opposite ends. Like a lot of the times, yeah, Beckham, you make an excellent point. A lot of the times we talk about cases where it involves someone much younger. This is a very different type of
Yes, you
case.
see, like James just put the French popular, made it popular for nude postcards 100 years ago.
Yeah. French culture is very different. You are absolutely right. I want to get back to, I know I just read this stuff for like 10 minutes, but you guys have had a lot of comments in the chat, and I want to make sure that we get to those. Let me go back to, where is it? Okay, here we go. This is the woman whose husband was drugging her and letting men take advantage of her. WTF, yep. James heard about this but didn't read any details on it. This is not chill. This is so not chill. Rabbit, you are spot on and then some. If you live long enough, you'll hear everything. No kidding. Let's see. I think I would know if I'd been violated like that. No way, that doesn't hurt you. That is right. Can I borrow some vomit? I ran out. Oh. She didn't feel soreness on her body. That I don't know. I don't know. Let's see where. Danny, we totally just said, oh my God, at the same time. Was money involved? No, Todd, thank you for bringing that up. No, nope. There was no benefit for the husband to do this except he wanted to watch and he wanted it filmed. So these men that were coming over, they didn't have to pay anything. It was just for that. And there's a lot, age-wise, there's a big gap in the ages of the people who would come to rape Giselle. There's also, in regards to people's professions, this crosses like every span of, just your, average worker doing, maybe, restaurant work or something, to kind of higher up people in regards to French culture. So there's a lot of people that are in this, and yeah, we'll see. There's a lot. I believe most of them have their own defense attorneys. So it will be interesting once each of these men stand trial, like to hear their defense attorneys try to argue this. It's going to be infuriating.
Yeah.
I remember being gullible and thinking this world is a beautiful place. Rabbit, yeah.
No, the world is evil, and it has a lot
Why
of
do you think I
dangerous
have
people.
6 cats? Because people suck.
Dude, it's like the world is evil. There's a lot of really bad people across the world that are out there that lead countries. Yeah.
Renee, thank you for posting that link. Let's see. Certain areas of France has a real rape culture. Absolutely, Renee. Sam Smith, welcome to the chat. Let's see. Tony Stewart read domestic violence is not hardly pursued in Russia. I totally believe that. It's further south in France, the worse it gets. Why do the women say you're going to, where do you live? It's close to the Mediterranean. Middle East culture is alive and well there. Can't they go for the surprise angle in the prosecution? I think that's Tony. Not Tony. Sorry. Capone. I think that's one of the few things they have: violence, coercion, threat, or surprise. It's, yeah, based on French law, this, I'm so curious how this is going to go. And it's, ugh. Let's see. I just want to feel a little bit behind. Okay. All right. I think I got all of you guys. Renee says, do you remember a few years ago all the rapes? And no, I don't. I don't offhand. So yeah, thanks you guys for going down this last rabbit hole with me. This has been like, this case for Giselle has been on my radar like big time in the last few weeks. And it's just like every like free time moment I have, I'm like, I have to see what's going on. I have to read a little bit more into French law, or, you know, from this angle. I'm looking at every single angle here because there's just so much to it, to this case. But we'll see how it goes. We'll keep you guys posted. Beckham, we hit an hour and a half. I'm surprised you're still here.
Well, it's the co-main event's just starting, so I was gonna like, yep.
All right. Well, let's
But we
wind
made
this
it.
down.
Good show, man. Good show.
Yes, thank you for
Get
joining.
y'all's orders in for those t-shirts, mugs, trumpet shirts. I mean, saxophone shirts, cup shirts, candles, everything. I gotta get my order in still.
Another Danny After Dark. Yes, go. The link is in the drop down bar here for the Danny After Dark merch store, and I'll be posting an official video for it. But yeah, check it out. Basically, Beckham's not like, Beckham just wants you to buy his stuff. Beckham wants people to walk around wearing the Beckham candle shirts and no one wearing Danny After Dark stuff. That's what Beckham wants in all of this. So anyway, I do have a Beckham shirt and I'll wear it at some point. I'll wait till you're not here.
Thanks, appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much, Beckham, for joining me tonight. And thank you for telling us about the Malcolm X family lawsuit.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's just going to be interesting to see how that how they maneuvered through that, you know, their team, and see what the government does. And it's just kind of interesting to see from afar, see how that goes. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll keep you guys updated for sure. All right, everybody, have a great rest of your weekend. And until next time, remember, we don't live in darkness. Darkness lives in us. Bye, everyone.